Every day is the mastery of self. If you overcome just a little bit of yourself every day, there will be a different feeling that warms your heart. That's where I want people to be. And those add up over time. And yes, there's difficult meditations. Absolutely, I'd have them all the time. But if you are willing to sit in the presence of that fire and be willing to face off with it and keep returning back to the present moment, every time you do that, every time you catch yourself thinking about another person or another thing and you become conscious and return back to the present moment and unfold back into possibility, that's victory. And that's what begins to take us into this sense of worthiness, this sense of respect for ourselves and everybody else. We begin to honor and love ourselves more because we're in the crucible, we're in the fire, but we're working. And the body's beginning to shift and change step by step. So then, as you experience greater and greater degrees of oneness and wholeness, and you connect to that field, pay attention, because the moment you connect to that field and all those latent systems switch on, your body is going to get a biological upgrade because you're connecting to the signature of wholeness and oneness. So your body's frequency is going to rise, and so many people come out of their meditation and say, I was scheduled for surgery this week and I have no pain in my body. I don't know what happened. I just got beyond myself. So as you begin to slow your brain waves down, and from beta to alpha and into theta, you begin to connect to your autonomic nervous system. And that autonomic nervous system has one agenda, and that is to create balance, wholeness, and order.
Have you ever wondered how your life would look without fear, anxiety, and stress? Often when we decide we will change and make different choices and decisions, stress and fear appear, and it's like we forgot all we know about creating and manifesting our desired life. We instantly move into our ordinary, past state of being and keep creating the same experiences. So if you are determined to get rid of fear, then this video is for you. So pay attention and listen closely till the end. It's basic biology that sometimes we react without even thinking. Like when you feel scared, your body just does it, you know? That's totally normal. But when that fear sticks around for a long time, even after the thing that scared you happened days ago, it's like your body's hooked on that feeling. It becomes a habit, and you keep feeling scared without even meaning to. This can mess with how you think and act. So, what we try to teach people is how to deal with fear in a healthier way. Take anxiety, for example. Lots of people, from CEOs to doctors, deal with it. They've tried everything to make it go away, but they haven't really paid attention to how their body feels when they're scared. Calm yourself down when you're not in a scary situation, like during meditation. By noticing when your body starts to feel anxious and gently bringing yourself back to calmness, you can train your body to react differently. It's like training a pet. At first, your body might keep getting anxious again and again, like a kid throwing a tantrum. But if you keep practicing calming down, eventually your body learns to chill out more quickly. Your brain stops sending those scary signals, and you start feeling less afraid overall. It's all about training your mind and body to handle fear better. And when you're faced with a scary situation in real life, all that practice pays off. You can stay calmer and think more clearly instead of letting fear take over. It's not about ignoring fear completely. It's about changing how you respond to it. By focusing on your breathing and calming your mind, you can shift from fear to a more okay feeling. It takes practice, but it's worth it for your well-being. Keep doing what you're doing, relaxing into that heart energy. When you do that, it's like your brain lets go of all the old stuff, like trauma and betrayal. Those fears? Done. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain's fear response. And you know what's cool? When you start feeling that heart energy, you get super creative. You start thinking, what can I do now? What can I make? But here's the thing. At first, it's tough. It's like facing a giant with your eyes shut because these old habits are deeply ingrained. But people who keep practicing, they see real changes. Their brain scans show it. Anxiety? Poof, gone. And not just that, their whole view of the world shifts. Now, is this the only way to deal with tough emotions? Nah, there are other ways too. But just trying to push those feelings away doesn't cut it. You gotta practice feeling something different. And sometimes, tech can help by showing you when you're on the right track. Think about a Navy SEAL, right? They've tried everything, therapy, meds, you name it, but still can't shake off the past. Why? Because they're stuck in that cycle of reliving it. It's like trying to fix a soldier's PTSD while they're still in the thick of battle. But here's the inspiring part. People can push through. They get to that peak of their pain, that final battle, and they say, "One more time." And when they do, something clicks. It's not just a little breakthrough, it's like a weight lifted off their shoulders. Suddenly, when they look back, everything looks different. You need to spend some time alone with yourself. Put away distractions like your phone or computer. Just sit quietly and feel what comes up inside you. This kind of thinking, really reflecting on yourself, seems to have gotten lost nowadays. But it's important because it helps your brain grow. I always joke with people who attend our week-long events. When was the last time you sat with yourself this long? When you're alone with your thoughts, things you might not notice otherwise start to come up. Your inner world becomes clear, and you might start to see why you feel the way you do. People often ask why they feel a certain way or why their health is a certain way. The answer is simple. Spend time with yourself and you'll figure it out. It's about making time for yourself and investing in your own well-being. It's a bit uncomfortable at first, but that's normal. If you keep making the same choices, you'll keep getting the same results. If you want things to change, you have to be willing to change yourself. Everyone has the power to create their own life. It might be hard to believe at first, but once you start seeing things happen, you'll realize you're not just a victim of circumstance. You're the one in control. Practice makes perfect, right? Keep working on it, and you'll see improvements over time. You don't always have to go out and chase after things. Sometimes opportunities just come your way. That's another way of creating things. You just have to take some time for yourself, invest in yourself, and be open to new experiences. Let's talk about gratitude. When something good happens to you, you feel grateful, right? Gratitude is like the ultimate feeling of receiving. You can write down things you're thankful for in a journal, and that's helpful for keeping your focus positive. But what's really interesting is when you can feel grateful for things that haven't even happened yet. It's about believing that good things are coming your way, even if you haven't seen them yet. Now here's the science behind it. Your body responds to your emotions. If you're feeling grateful, your body responds by releasing chemicals that help you feel good and boost your immune system. We did a study where we had people focus on gratitude for just 4 days, and we saw their immune system get stronger. It's amazing how your emotions can affect your body in such a powerful way. When you feel grateful, your heart beats differently, almost like it's singing a happy tune. And that feeling of gratitude doesn't just stay in your heart. It travels to your brain too, sparking creativity and imagination. So, if you want to change your life for the better, start by feeling grateful for what you have and what's to come. It's like giving your brain and body a big, warm hug. When we feel grateful, it's like we become more open to connecting with others. We start to appreciate the present moment more, and we're more likely to give to others, which actually makes us feel even better. So, we teach people to feel grateful not just for what they already have, but also for the things they hope to have in the future. This can really change how our bodies work in a big way. Now, let's talk about how you can start practicing gratitude. You might already have a gratitude journal or something similar, which is great for helping you focus on the positive things in your life. But it's not just about feeling grateful for a few minutes and then going back to feeling down. It's about making gratitude a part of your everyday life, even when things aren't going so well. Imagine walking around feeling grateful all the time, and then seeing opportunities start to come your way because of that positive energy. That's the kind of change we're talking about here. It's like saying, I'm going to create good things in my life by focusing on gratitude. Now let's talk about the role of hard work. Some people think that just thinking positively is enough to change your life, but I see hard work a bit differently. For me, hard work is about fully committing myself to whatever I'm doing, putting my heart and soul into it. It's not just about achieving success, it's about finding happiness along the way. So, I'm interested in finding a different way to create change, one that doesn't necessarily require a lot of effort but focuses more on changing our energy. Because I've learned that when we change our energy, our lives can change too, and that's what I'm experimenting with now. So here's the deal. I'm trying to figure out how to make some big changes in my life. I'm not just sitting around watching TV or playing games. I'm doing my research. I'm diving into some pretty deep stuff, like quantum physics, to understand how things work. Here's what I've learned. According to quantum physics, everything is connected. There's this thing called the field that controls everything, and it's all about energy, not matter. So, if I want to change things in my life, I need to tap into this field and work with energy instead of just physical stuff. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm not just talking about changing my surroundings or my circumstances. I'm talking about changing myself on a deeper level. I want to become pure consciousness, no physical body, no distractions, just me and the energy field. But here's the thing, it's not easy. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience. I have to unlearn a lot of old habits and beliefs, and that's tough. But every time I push myself a little further, I start to see some real changes. So, when it comes to hard work, it's not just about putting in the hours or the effort. It's about fully immersing myself in the experience, pushing past my limits, and seeing what happens. And let me tell you, when I start to see those changes, it's all worth it. Now, I know this might sound a bit out there for some people. They might be more focused on practical stuff, like getting a good job or making money. But I've seen firsthand how powerful this approach can be. When you tap into that energy field, when you truly believe that the universe has your back, amazing things can happen. And yeah, it might take some time and some effort, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. I've noticed something interesting. When we break free from our old emotional habits that keep dragging us down, something pretty amazing happens. It's like a weight is lifted off our shoulders, and we feel this sense of joy and freedom. We can express ourselves without holding back, without feeling restricted in any way. I've seen it happen time and time again. At the end of these events I host, people are beaming with happiness. And you know what I tell them? I remind them that they're the ones who made themselves happy. They decided to change, to let go of who they didn't want to be anymore, and to become someone better. They showed up even when it was tough, and that's what made all the difference. You see, I believe that the universe gives us what we believe we deserve. So when we feel happy and worthy, when we keep showing up for ourselves, amazing things start to happen. And that's why I think it's so important to overcome our own doubts and fears. Because when we do, the joy that comes from it is unlike anything else. Now, as for learning to love ourselves, that's a journey in itself. It's about practicing love every day until it becomes second nature. And you know what happens when we truly love ourselves? We become less selfish, more caring, more compassionate. We start to see the good in others because we see the good in ourselves. I remember this one guy at one of my events. He came in a wheelchair thinking he was just going to a yoga retreat. But by the end of it, he was walking on the beach feeling happier and more alive than ever before. He had never truly loved himself until that moment, and it changed everything for him. So yeah, when we're filled with love, fear and judgment just don't have a place anymore. We're so content with where we're at that we wouldn't trade it for anything. And I truly believe that's how we're meant to live, as kind, loving beings, supporting and uplifting one another. I used to think that people came to our events looking for healing, abundance, new jobs, relationships, or some mystical experience. But what they're really seeking is wholeness. See, when you feel complete, you don't feel the need for anything else. It's only when you feel lacking or separate from what you desire that you start wanting things. So people spend their lives chasing after these things they want, thinking it will make them happy. But once they get them, the happiness doesn't last. That feeling of lack and separation creeps back in, and at some point, they realize that nothing external can fill that void. That's when they wake up and realize that true joy comes from within. It's not about having the biggest house or the fanciest car. Even billionaires have told me they feel miserable despite their success. Genuine happiness comes from mastering yourself, from finding peace and order within. When you reach a point where you feel so whole that you no longer want anything, that's when you're truly free. You stop looking outside yourself for happiness and start finding it within. And that's when you start to experience deeper connections and elevated states of being. Now, self-mastery is important, but it's just the beginning. There's so much more to explore beyond the material world. Mystical experiences can open up new doors of perception and change you in profound ways. Not everyone may be open to these experiences, but when you're ready, you'll find your way. Everyone's on their own journey back to their true selves, and there's always something greater to discover along the way. Whoever controls the information controls how people act. That's just how it works. See, when we learn something new, it shapes how we behave. If everyone believes the same information, they'll all act in similar ways. Right now, we're living in a time where many old ways of thinking are falling apart. It's a wild time to be alive. With so much information out there, it's hard to know what to trust anymore. Some people have their own agendas that might not be good for everyone else. That's why it's important for people to come together in person, like at our events. There's something special that happens when a group of people connect. We've measured the energy in the room, and something new always emerges when people bond and share experiences. Technology is amazing, but it can also be addictive. We've seen it at our events. People don't even realize how hooked they are on their devices until they have to go without them. But once they break free, they feel different, like they've hit a reset button. Learning should be rewarding on its own, but if you're always seeking stimulation from screens, it can mess with your ability to focus and learn. It took me over a year to enjoy reading without feeling agitated because I was so used to constant stimulation. Our hearts and brains can sync up to exchange information. When they're in sync, our hearts can actually guide our brains. But with all the conflicting information out there, it's hard to know what's true anymore. It's like watching the news. How do we know what's real and what's not? When you're sleeping and you wake up, your brain goes through different stages called brain waves. It starts from delta, then goes to theta, alpha, and beta. When you wake up in the morning, you're conscious and back in the real world. But when you go to bed at night and it's dark, your brain starts making melatonin. This makes your brain waves change from beta to alpha to theta to delta. When you move from beta to alpha, you stop thinking analytically. And when you stop thinking, your brain goes into alpha mode. So when you go to bed, you kind of just lie down, get comfy, and try not to think about anything. If you can't stop thinking, you can't fall asleep because your brain waves stay active. You might end up obsessing or overthinking things, getting stuck in a loop. There are two times when the door to your subconscious mind opens up: when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night. These are important times if you want to change how your subconscious mind works. I'm an early riser, so I take advantage of the morning time. I sit up, not letting myself fall back asleep, and I think about what I want to change or improve. It's really important to use this pre-sleep and waking window to reset and regenerate your mind. You can program your brain to behave differently or change habits you don't like. This is the best time for your brain to repair and reset itself. Some people are night owls, and that's okay too. They can use this time before bed to do the same kind of thinking and planning for the next day. It's all about getting into that state between wakefulness and sleep, where your mind is open to change. You don't have to force yourself to do this. It's something your brain naturally does. You just need to take advantage of it by asking yourself some questions and reflecting on your day or planning for the next one. Just make sure you're not getting too caught up in analyzing everything. It's more about observing and planning than overthinking. Remember, your personality creates your personal reality, so dare to become someone new, someone who embodies the greatest version of yourself. If you found value in this video and want to dive deeper into the mysteries of the mind, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Share this video with anyone you think could benefit from unlocking the potential of their subconscious mind. Together, let's empower ourselves to create the life we truly desire. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your support, and until next time, stay conscious, stay curious, and stay connected.